Hello there, I'm Andrew John, and I'd like to tell you about my song. This song is called Horses Sweat, Men Perspire, but Ladies Glow. A long time ago, it was 1989, I was on a little Pacific island called Rotuma. I stayed there for a couple of weeks, and it's a wonderful place to visit because there are no hotels, there are no bars, there are no shops. So all you can do is stay with the local people and get to know them. And so I was on this idyllic island of Rotuma for about 2 weeks. And then I flew to Los Angeles and to Nashville in Tennessee because I have a friend, my old friend Michael James Cott, who is a fiddle player, but mostly known as a cello player in an Appalachian group called Plank Road. And I wasn't intending to do any music in Nashville, I was just going to visit Michael. So I arrived and he met me at my motel and we went down to a studio. He was working on a song in the studio with a violin player. And we got talking and they kind of said, well, if you've got any songs you want to record, you could do that tomorrow. And so I thought, well, why not try? So they rounded up some musicians, and the following day we turned up at the studio, which was a little station. It was called Burns Station Sound, just outside of Nashville. And there was a little group of musicians, and we recorded 2 or 3 songs. And I didn't know who these musicians were, but they played really well, and actually I hadn't even got songs ready to record. I had just written the skeleton of the songs, maybe the first verse and a chorus, and then so I just recorded the songs with the kind of skeleton of the song, and then suddenly I realized that I couldn't pay these people or the studio because, of course, this was way back in '89. I don't even think I had a credit card at that time. But they were very understanding people, and they just said, well, when you get back home, you can send us the money. And so I said goodbye, and the only thing I took with me was a cassette copy of what we had recorded, and I went back to Denmark, and I sent them the money, and I forgot all about it for about 25 years. And then I had this idea that I played the cassette, and it sounded pretty good, so I thought, well, I wonder if they've kept that tape, the master tape, the 2-inch 24-track tape. So I contacted the studio, and it was still running, and they did have the tape. So we transferred it to modern technology over to Pro Tools, and in January 2020, I had written the necessary lyrics, and I recorded the vocal and mixed it. So this is right at the beginning of 2020. I finished the song that I started in 1989. And the song that I've chosen to play today is called Horses Sweat, Men Perspire, but Ladies Glow. I've also identified the musicians, and it was a big surprise. But the most surprising, of course, was that the drummer was Kenny Buttrey. Now, Kenny Buttrey played on Blonde, Bob Dylan's Blonde on Blonde, and on Nashville Skyline, and he played on Leonard Cohen's records, Nashville Records, and he played on Neil Young's Gold Rush. So a really, really distinguished and respected drummer. I thought he played pretty well, but I didn't know who he was. And then the guitar player on this song is a gentleman called Tommy Alsop. Now, if you remember the story of Buddy Holly, he finished playing a gig, and he chartered a small plane and was going to fly to the next destination. And there was only room for 3 people, I think the pilot and 3 other people. And Buddy was obviously getting one of the seats, and the other 2, there was a discussion who would be on the plane. And Tommy tossed a coin. He wanted to go on the plane, but he lost the toss, and so he didn't get killed in the plane crash, but he lived to play on this song, and he's playing the excellent guitar. The piano player on this on this recording is Bobby Emmons, who is the piano player who played on Elvis Presley's Suspicious Minds, among many other of Elvis's songs. So one of the really great Nashville piano players, but although I didn't realize it at the time. The bass player, I don't know who the bass player is. I hope that somebody who sees the picture will recognize him, but at the moment I don't know who he is. The pedal steel player is Stu Basor, who was again one of the truly great Nashville steel guitar players, and it was just a great privilege for me to work with these guys. So take a listen to the song, and if you don't like the awful sound of my voice, then you can always listen to this wonderful collection of super musicians. Enjoy it, I hope you will.
1, 2.
Well, they were riding across the desert when the lady turns and says that it was time to stop and lay down in the shade. His eyes begin to shine, 'cause he's feeling pretty fine, and it looks as though at last he's got it made. He takes her in his arms, and he's using all his charms, and he says,
"Boy, this heat can really make you sweat."
She turns a chalky white, and she fouls him with her right. And there's one thing that the cowboy won't forget: that horses sweat, men perspire, but ladies glow. Your horses sweat, men perspire, but ladies glow. Well, let me tell you, buddy, it could save your life to know that horses sweat, men perspire, but ladies glow. The lady astronauts were having most ambitious thoughts. They'd like to be the first to walk upon the sun. They'd throw their lives away if they landed during the day, but if they waited until the night, it might be done.
Now, I don't want to be droll,
Said Major Tom at ground control.
but pretty soon you ladies may begin to sweat.
The explosion in the sky made all the angels start to cry. Now poor old Tom knows that their promise was no threat. 'Cause horses sweat, men perspire, but ladies glow. Your horses sweat, men perspire, but ladies glow. Let me tell you, buddy, it could save your life to know that horses sweat, men perspire, but ladies glow. The greatest lady of them all is Mother Earth, you may recall. She spends all her days just basking in the sun. Aware of all the rays, she spins around and round all day, tanned to a turn, but never, never overdone. The sun displayed his sense of humour, told her all about the rumour.
Climate change will shortly make you sweat.
Mother Earth, she went ballistic, said his views were fatalistic, and the poor old sun he simply had to set. 'Cause horses sweat, men perspire, but ladies glow. Your horses sweat, men perspire, but ladies glow. Well, let me tell you, buddy, it could save your life to know that horses sweat, men perspire, but ladies glow. Your horses sweat, men perspire, but ladies glow. Your horses sweat, men perspire, but ladies glow.